I just wanted a trim. Nothing fancy. But the moment I sat in Omar's chair, his fingers in my hair, his voice low and teasing in my ear, I felt something shift. The cape he fastened around my neck might as well have been a collar. He leaned in, breath warm against my jaw. You trust me with a blade that close to your throat? I swallowed hard. Should I? He grinned. We'll find out. The clippers buzzed like tension between us. Omar's hands were everywhere, adjusting, grazing, lingering too long. When he tilted my head back, his knuckles brushed my throat. You're tense, he murmured. Let me loosen you up. Before I could ask what he meant, he slid behind me, and his hands went lower than they ever should have. And I didn't stop him. Look at yourself, Omar whispered, his lips barely grazing my ear. His voice slipped through me like warm liquor, slow, smooth, and sinful. I was already gone, breath caught somewhere between anticipation and disbelief. The shop lights cast a dim glow, the kind that made everything feel dreamlike. The faint hum of the clippers was long gone. Now, the only thing I could hear was the rush of my blood, the soft creak of the chair as I shifted under his touch. He didn't ask for permission. His hand slid under the cape, bold and unhurried, fingertips gliding across the cotton of my shirt before pressing against my chest. My heartbeat jumped under his palm. You like this? He murmured, his eyes locking with mine through the mirror. My mouth parted, but no sound came out. I didn't need to answer. It was written across my face, flushed, dazed, lips slightly swollen from his earlier kisses, pupils blown wide. God, I did like it. Loved it. Every risky, reckless second of it. The shop wasn't even closed. Anyone could walk in. The front blinds were only half drawn, the door still unlocked. Street noise filtered in from outside. The occasional honk, laughter, footsteps on pavement. The world was still moving. But not for me. Not here. Here, there was only Omar. Only us. I couldn't look away. The mirror held me captive. His eyes were dark and steady, watching me unravel as his fingers found the space between the buttons on my shirt and slipped beneath. The cold press of his skin against mine made me suck in a breath. You've been pretending, he said, voice low, a secret shared against my neck. Coming in for haircuts like it's nothing. Acting like you don't watch me. Like you don't want this. I swallowed hard. I didn't think you'd. What? You bit down gently on the shell of my ear. Think I want you back. My hands gripped the armrests of the chair. I didn't know whether I was holding on or trying to keep from pulling him closer. You watch me in that mirror every time you sit here, he said, dragging his hand lower, resting just above my waistband. And I see you. Every little twitch. Every breath. Every time I touch your neck and you flinch like it's too much. He kissed the side of my throat, slow and sure. You wanted this. So have I. And then his hips pressed into the back of the chair, solid and certain, making sure I felt the heat between us, the want he wasn't hiding anymore. The mirror fogged slightly from our breath. I stared at the reflection, his mouth on my skin, his hands owning every inch of me, the black barber cape draped over my lap like a secret we both wanted to keep and couldn't. All I could see was us, in that mirror, coming undone. We locked the door. Or maybe he did. I couldn't remember. My head was too clouded with everything he was doing to me. Every touch, every whisper. My senses were a storm, each nerve alight with anticipation and something darker. The sound of the lock clicking into place barely registered. All I could hear was the rasp of my breath, the pulse of my blood in my ears, and the low hum of the lights in the shop. Everything else faded away as Omar spun the chair to face him. I barely had time to react before he climbed onto the seat, straddling me, his strong legs bracketing my hips. The weight of him was grounding, anchoring me to the present. I couldn't look away from his eyes, dark, commanding, hungry. His hands grabbed the back of my head, forcing me to tilt my neck just the way he wanted. He was in control now. Completely. And God, it felt like nothing else mattered. "You came for a fade," he whispered against my ear, his breath hot and sharp. His hips ground into mine, slow at first, then faster, harder, like he was marking me, claiming me in ways I never expected, but always needed. "But I'm giving you the full experience." His words dripped with dark amusement, a promise, and a dare all rolled into one. He wasn't asking for permission anymore. His hands moved over me with the precision of someone who knew exactly how to break a man. Physically, mentally, all at once. I should have felt ashamed, embarrassed even, but all I felt was hunger. Desire, twisting in my gut, knotting around every inch of my body. My hands gripped his waist, fingers digging into the hard muscles beneath his shirt, pulling him closer, desperate for more. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding as his lips found my jaw, trailing down my neck. Each kiss was a flame, igniting my skin, leaving a trail of heat in its wake. I didn't fight it. I didn't want to fight it. "Say you want this," Omar murmured between kisses, his voice rough, urgent. His hands slid down on my chest, tugging at my shirt. His fingers were everywhere, leaving no part of me untouched. Every inch of me ached, screamed for him to take control. And I wanted him to. "I want this," I rasped, the words spilling out in a breathless rush. "I want all of it." He chuckled darkly, pulling me closer, if that was even possible. His lips pressed harder against mine, demanding, bruising. I didn't resist, couldn't resist. I was already too far gone. "Good," he whispered, before his mouth found my neck again, his teeth grazing over sensitive skin. Every second was a whirlwind of sensation, of pure indulgence. There was no time, no space. There was just us. Here. Now. Rough, fast, desperate. I didn't care what happened after this. I didn't care what came next. All I knew was that I was finally alive in a way I never had been before. Finally feeling. And as his hands slid lower, as he pushed me into the chair, I begged for it. God help me, I begged for it. Afterwards, we sat in silence. The hum of the lights, the distant sounds of the world outside, all of it felt too far away now. My hair was perfect, every strand in place, just the way I wanted it. But my heart was wrecked, shattered in ways I hadn't expected. The chair beneath me felt too hard, too cold, in contrast to the heat that still pulsed through my veins from everything that had just happened. The taste of him was still fresh on my lips, the scent of him still clinging to me like some kind of intoxicating aftershave. But now there was a stillness, an unsettling quiet between us. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw something I hadn't noticed before. It wasn't just the flicker of desire in his eyes anymore. No, there was something deeper there. A vulnerability, maybe something raw, unspoken. A truth neither of us had said out loud, but both of us could feel. He leaned back in his chair, wiping his hands on a towel, trying to play it cool, but his eyes betrayed him. He was still wound up, still caught in the aftershocks of what had just transpired between us. His voice was casual, but the tension in it couldn't be missed. "Same time next week?" he asked, the corner of his lips lifting in a half-smirk, as though he was trying to make it seem like it was just another day, just another appointment. But I could see it. I could feel it. This wasn't just another appointment. This was something else, something that neither of us could ignore anymore. I couldn't play it cool. Not anymore. I reached for his hand before I could second-guess myself. His skin was warm, callous from years of work, but the touch, the contact, felt like it was something more. Something that had been building between us for so long and was now breaking free, flooding into the space between us. "No," I said softly, my voice steady despite the way my heart was pounding in my chest. Next time, I'm cutting you in." His breath caught in his throat, his fingers tightening around mine, and for a moment, everything stopped. There was no more playing it safe. No more pretending like we hadn't crossed some invisible line. His gaze softened, searching mine as if looking for something. An answer, a reassurance, maybe even a promise. For the first time that night, he looked unsure. But I wasn't unsure. I knew what I wanted. His eyes never left mine, and that familiar grin crept back to his lips. It wasn't cocky anymore. It was something else. Something real. His voice was low, laced with that same dark intensity, but there was an undercurrent of something deeper. "Are you sure?" he asked, as if testing me, as if I had a choice. I nodded, squeezing his hand just a little tighter, my thumb brushing against his knuckles. More than anything. And just like that, the moment became something entirely different. A routine trim, a simple haircut, had turned into something dangerous, something that had unraveled both of us, but also bound us together in a way neither of us could deny. It wasn't just lust anymore. It was something far more complicated, more beautiful, a beginning. And as I looked at him, the man who had started this all with just a touch, I realized that nothing in this world could ever be the same again. Not for either of us.